Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Listen Up a Minute. I'm your host, John Dowl, and of course, making things happen, Wright of Full Motion Video, along with our executive producer, Larry Brown of LJ Brown Productions. Without those people, I'd just be here talking to myself. So good to have you with me again. Good to be back, and I am with Bill McGee. Once again, the legend. How are you, sir?
Remember, I'm also a co-host. Well, I was a co-host. I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Co-host or whatever.
I'm still. What do you call them? Co-host emeritus. When you've been around forever, they say, "Well, you still
co-executive producer,
co-host, all of those things." I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Good. We're here to talk about this new CD you put out.
Oh yeah,
The Tree of Life, and for a lot of people, it might be strange because no one puts out CDs.
Right.
Or for people that are old enough to remember, like yours truly, albums.
Right.
Full albums. Everything is
Right.
a single now. Single.
Right.
And you put out a CD called The Tree of Life.
The Tree of Life. It took me 8 years to finish this CD from the last one. Because of the pandemic, because of 5 years having custody of my grandkids, just a whole lot of things. Well, the album before that, Still Bill, it took me 9 years to finish that one. Because I tell everybody, look, and it's always, I think you and I, we talked about this before, it's always funny how I mention to people that since we've been married 20 years and we've had 9 grandchildren in 20 years. Our oldest grandson is 19 and our youngest is now 8. So during a lot of that time period between the fourth album, Still Bill, and the album before that, I think it was Chase the Sunset, it was 9 years. And then the promoter told me, said, "Bill, you cannot afford to wait another 9 years to put it out." And I started feeling all this pressure going like, wait a minute, hold up. If I don't hurry up and get this album done, it's going to be another 9 years. I said, nobody can take 18 years to put out 2 albums. So I decided to go ahead and get this done, and it was really supposed to come out in 2000 and what is this? It's supposed to be 2022.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the number on the album I think is 2022. I think I made that the number because that's when the album was supposed to actually come out. But it really didn't come out to 2023 for a whole lot of reasons. But I'm real happy with it. It's being received well. The first single is on the charts right now. It's only been out about 6 or 7 weeks. Oh. And it's only been out, well, maybe 8 weeks. And so it's really doing well. I think I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
I listened to this and I jotted down some notes, and the very first song, I listened to it about, I guess the intro, maybe first 11 seconds. I'm thinking, okay, this is an intro to a game show, a pageant. Something nice is about to happen.
Right.
And then, like most jazz, it just
went in another direction.
But it goes in another direction, but it's still in sync at the same time. And then next thing I'm patting my feet.
Your head's nodding.
I'm like, this is nice. Just nice.
Well, here's the story behind that. That song is one of the premier songs on the album called Flight Time by the historic trumpet player Donald Byrd, who created the Blackbirds. Yeah. Donald Byrd was a historic trumpet player who, over the years, but his legacy is he became an educator and a person who really helped a lot of other people learn about the music business. That's why he's one of my favorite people, role models, right? It's like, I talk about Donald Byrd a lot because that's what he did. So Flight Time was a record that he put out in 50 years ago. Wow. Right? It was one of the first smooth jazz records. Believe it or not, it's been out 50 years. Ooh. It's probably one of the first smooth jazz records, especially for trumpet players and stuff. It was before Breezin' by George Benson. Yeah. It was before a lot of those records, man. The only person, it was before Mr. Magic by Grover.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I remember Mr. Magic.
Yeah, so Flight Time came out in the year 2002 or 2001, 2002. And then the Blackbirds, am I getting my years right? Yeah, because I told you it was whatever. And then the Blackbirds, I don't mean, no, that's just 20 years. I said 50 years.
50, so that'd be
1970,
72,
73. See, I knew I was getting it wrong because the Blackbirds have been together 50 years too. Trussell started 50 years ago also. So
man, I'm just 58 years old.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
So when you listen to Donald Byrd's version of Blackbird of Flight Time, that part that you hear on the beginning is like way in the middle of the song.
Oh.
It's like this song's about 7 or 8 minutes long on the album.
Okay.
All right, and then halfway through the song it goes through that bump da 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 da. And so I listened to it and I said, now, as an arranger, I kind of like edited it to the beginning because I liked where it went. Like you said, it's anticipatory. It makes you think something's got to be coming right behind this thing. And so that's why I took the very middle and put it at the beginning. And actually, I had one of my students do it, a guy named S. Bernard Owens, who is a co-producer. He's a student that I taught. He ended up working with Teddy Riley and some other people.
Okay.
Norfolk State grad.
Yeah.
Norfolk State, right. So he's like my go-to guy. I taught him how to do all this stuff, and he's big time professional now.
Nice.
He worked with Brian McKnight and a lot of people like that. He works with Brian's son, Brian Jr. So I sent him the edits. I said, Sean, this is the format. Starts with this intro, then it goes to that and this and that. And I sent it to him, and I told him, put the song together for me. And he actually put all the music, the drums, and everything together. And that's the arrangement we had. So once he sent that to me, then I started adding live people. Najee is on there. Najee, I was listening to, it's a quick story, and I guess this album is so many songs and so much, I can't take up all the time on Flight Time. But I had the idea of using specific people culturally. That's why I wanted Tom Brown to be on it with me. And I wanted Kevin Toney. Kevin Toney was the original leader of the Blackbirds.
Oh.
From Howard University. They started the Blackbirds, I think his freshman year or something, and Donald Byrd took Kevin Toney under his wing. So Kevin is a piano player. Then Tom Brown is playing with me on it. My friend Christian De Masonis, the bass player, who I played on his #1 hit record. And then Freddie Fox, Evelyn Champagne King's husband, my other friend, I played on several of his records together. And so Sean put all the music together, and I recruited all these other guys to play the different parts. But I was going to use Reagan Whiteside, the flautist, to do the flute part. Reagan ended up getting COVID when we were finishing up the part. And so Clarence Oliver from Petersburg played with Ray Goodman and Brown and played with the Moments and a whole bunch of people. We've featured him before on the show, whereas Clarence, I talked about Clarence. Clarence was very good friends with Najee. Because Najee toured with Ray Goodman and Brown when he first started. And the Clarence and them backed him up. So Clarence is real good friends. And I said, dog, man, I was listening on the TV and I heard this song with Brian Simpson and it had a beautiful flute on it. And I looked at it on Spotify and it was Najee. I said, I forgot that dude, because everybody thinks of Najee as a saxophonist kind of like, but he's a hell of a flutist.
I first saw him playing with, oh my gosh, Why am I drawing a blank?
Because you're getting 50 something.
Is that what it is? What's Anita Baker?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
He was her pianist.
Najee was playing
Yes.
piano?
Yes.
Wow.
I never forget that. And then he was her pianist. And she kind of intro said, during the show, a break to folks, watch out for him. He's going to make some noise, y'all. He was playing her piano.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think Gerald Albright played bass for her.
Wow.
It shows you how she's got all these other cats. But
Yeah, I know.
So I called Clarence up and I said, Clarence, the young lady who's supposed to do flute on Flight Time can't do it, and I need a flute player. I said, do you think Najee would do it? He said, wait a minute. He texted Najee. He said, Najee, my boy needs a flute player on the tune. Najee said, whatever you need, brother,
Okay,
I got it.
okay.
And that was it.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Najee recorded that song on Christmas Day. He was on his way to England, and he and I were back and forth on the phone on Christmas Day of 2022. Is when he recorded his. So that was my Christmas present.
Nice.
Because he was killing it. And to have Najee, Kevin Toney, Tom Brown, Freddie Fox, and Christian Demisonis, and then the young brother who did drums on that is a brother from here in Richmond, but he's also a graduate of Norfolk State. So he's the guy that did the snare drum part on the video with Beyonce.
Oh.
When Beyonce used the band and stuff, and he's
yes.
playing the little stuff. He's the brother who did the snare drum. Awesome drummer, man. Because see, I sent him most of the music already done.
Oh.
So to play drums with a song that's already recorded, and to be playing it like you're leading this, man, he did a fantastic. His name is Ty Only, Onley. And I wanted to give him a shout out because I'm always talking about Tom Brown and Najee and Kevin Toney, but I didn't give Ty a shout out like I should.
Is that, you said you sent him the music, and this might be, I guess, off kilter, but is it important, or how important is it to know how to read music?
Oh, I didn't send him no sheet music. I sent him the
Okay,
instrumental.
all right.
No, man.
All right.
Now, be honest. No, but be honest with you. A couple of people I work with, Kevin Toney, and even Tom Brown, I think, they wanted what you call a sketch score. Mm-hmm. So it's not every note written out that they're going to record, but what it is it's like how many measures you're doing this section, and what the key is, what are the changes, B flat here, F minor here, right? And then the next 8. So you kind of send out a score that says, you come in here at this part, and you get out here at this part. So I did have to send out sheet music, even to Najee and them. That way they knew where to play and where not to play. But I didn't write out notes for them to play.
So how important is it for someone to know how to read music as opposed to somebody just talented enough to play by ear?
Depends on what kind of music you're doing. You know, you're doing New Orleans, first lines kind of stuff. Nobody writing that stuff out. You can't write. You can't write that stuff out. You know, so even though a lot of cats can read, and 99% of musicians I know learn how to read music, and they learn the fundamentals of music. They learn chord changes, and they learn it, and then you turn them loose. It's like a kid riding a bicycle. You start out with the little
training wheel,
Well, no, the big wheel.
Tricycle.
The little big wheel thing. You know, you start out with the little big wheel thing, and then you move them to a tricycle. Then you move them to a bicycle with training wheels. Right? Well, that's the way music is. You gradually learn, and then after you take them training wheels off, baby, you on your own.
Okay.
I'm going to hold you and roll with you for a minute. Then I'm going to let it go. We're going to count this song off, baby, and it's time for you to get up there and play your part.
Okay.
You know, so you on your own. And then some people become professional race bicycle people, you know. They end up with them $5,000 bicycles. And riding all over the place, all over the world. So music is the same way.
Okay.
Yep, music same way. You start out with a big wheel, and you end up with one of them 50 speed racers that you can pick the whole bicycle up
like
with one finger because they're so light, right? And the wheels about like that.
Yeah.
We use these big fat wheels, man, and those professional bikes like that, man. The wheels are so thin and narrow and stuff. Lightweight. So that's it.
Yeah, I was telling you on my way over here, I found myself listening to the whole CD and then going back to number 11 first. And you said pretty much everyone thought song number 11. They seem to gravitate towards that one a little more than the rest of them.
I personally think number 11, The Tree of Life, is a classic. Yeah. And I say it's a classic in terms of the music that I have liked all of my life. And the music like, there's a Joe Sample, Layla Hathaway tune that I love. It talks about you're gonna come this way again. I don't know if you know that tune. It's such a beautiful song because it talks about when my life was low.
Okay.
And it talks about people who are going through something and when their life was low, and they said, you may not know me now. You made it, you've moved on to another thing. But you never know when things change around and you may have to come this way again. And what they're basically saying is don't play people off just because all of us have been at a low point in our life.
True.
Everybody can point to a low point. Everybody hadn't been flossing and bombing the whole time, you know what I'm saying? So you remember those low times. Well, The Tree of Life, and then on my last album, I have that song called Just You Wait and See with Cora Harvey Armstrong, which is a very similar song. This song is just like that. It was written in honor of Larry D. and Shirley Jones, dear friends of mine from Dinwiddie, Virginia. Larry D. was a child star and a player. Shirley and Larry met in middle school. They started boyfriend and girlfriend all the way through school. Right after high school, they got married. They were married 50-something, almost 51 years. Shirley ended up with pancreatic cancer and died last April. And Larry was heartbroken and just, it's one of them things, man, when you lose the better half. He just, for whatever reason, man, I don't know if Larry threw his hands in the air or he just gave up. Larry played on all of my albums before, and I was trying to get him to play on this album. I said, Larry, I'm going to bring your computer over, I'm a keyboard, I'm going to hook you up. We're gonna do some music. He said, "Yeah, man. Right now, I'm not feeling it right now. Like And his daughter called me. Sherelle called me one day and said he's gone, and it just threw me for a loop. So when I did the eulogy at his funeral, I couldn't do Shirley's funeral. John, I caught COVID. I tested positive for COVID the day of Shirley's funeral. And my wife and she and my wife were very close friends. They were like, every couple has another couple if you want to go hang out with somebody. Well, they were our hangout couple. Because Larry and I would talk music and radio and all the stuff. And then Shirley, I don't know what Shirley and Wanda were talking about. They just talk about stuff. And Larry and I would be talking music all the time, right? So that really hurt both of us so bad when we couldn't go to Shirley's funeral because of the COVID. And then, so I did the eulogy. I am an ordained minister, so I preached the eulogy at Larry's funeral. And his nephew, Jay Baxter, who has a band called the Sauce Band. Jay Baxter is a phenomenal singer and piano player. He sang at the funeral. Larry is his uncle. Larry's sister, Rose Starr, is Jay's mother. And so Jay, I told Jay after it was over, I said, man, we got to do something together to honor your uncle and to honor your aunt. And he called me up. He said, hey, man, I got the song. And he came over right here in the studio and he sat down there. I said, let me hear what you got. And it was the song, The Tree of Life. And we recorded it right here. All we recorded was piano and his voice. And I was going to go with just his voice, piano, and me playing my flugelhorn right here. I was going to play the flugelhorn with it, and there's just gonna be the three of us. And then I started listening to it, and I started hearing all these other parts and all this other stuff, man. So I ended up adding, it has a string bass on a guy from Petersburg named Derek Cooper. Derek is playing string bass on the first couple of verses. And then my man E.J. Shaw, another one of my students, is playing bass and drums on it. And then my man out of Jersey is playing saxophones, and I do all the brass. Doc Watson, Doc Watson, he played on all the Sugar Hill stuff with me and all that. And Dave is doing all the saxophones. He's got a really nice baritone sax on it. And it just all came together, man. And I'll be honest with you, when I sent it, because Jay, all he ever heard was him playing the piano and singing the parts, right?
And your horn.
He didn't hear my horn, because see, I didn't play along with him. I recorded him while he was doing his thing, and then I was gonna put my horn on later. But I waited till I'd done all the stuff to send it to him, or a lot of the stuff. And he told me, man, he said, man, I cried like a baby. It just affected him so much to hear his ideas and the thoughts that he had of honoring his uncle and his aunt. And then to hear, see, because that's the beautiful thing about music, man. You have this idea, and you start off with just the basic idea, like a painter with a plain canvas.
Plain canvas.
And there's nothing on there. And then when it's all over with,
done,
you
like,
step
whoa.
back and you go like, whoa. Right? And other people look at it and they go, whoa. Well, see, music is that way. When you and a lot of the people who have told me that, so Sean, S. Bernard Owens, the guy who's the executive producer, he wrote a couple of songs, but the other ballad on the album is his song that he wrote, he produced, he did everything. He told me that number 11 is his favorite song. Even though he has to say, hey man, he said, all the songs, man, the Tree of Life is my favorite, man. And I had a lot of people tell me that. So just for everybody's sake who watches, listens to this, and I don't know how long it's gonna be that way, in honor of Larry and Shirley, I made the Tree of Life a free download.
Oh, nice.
So if you go to my website, 804jazz.com, you can download that song for free.
Okay.
It was just a gift, you know, when somebody has something that, and what happens is every time somebody loses somebody, I want them to hear this song because the song is so beautiful.
It is.
It's
nice.
beautiful, and it's not a sad song, but the lyrics, one of the lines he wrote that stays with me, he says, I promise you, spring is coming, and with it, brand new leaves.
Yes.
I promise you, spring is coming, and with it, brand new leaves. And that is such a hopeful statement for those people who have lost somebody, because we, at that time, think that it's just over. But what he's saying and what the Tree of Life represents is that life is a cycle. And every winter, we see all the leaves fall off the trees, and the trees look dead, right? But then here comes spring. And here come the leaves, and here comes the shade and all the beautiful, and our lives are like that. We've lost our grandparents, many of us have lost our parents, people have lost loved ones, and the cycle of life, it's the Tree of Life, you know, that's what it is. Now, you know, I don't focus on this, and I tell people, well, the Tree of Life is in the Bible.
Right.
Because you know there's the tree of knowledge.
Yes.
And there's a tree of life. And Adam and Eve theoretically ate an apple from the tree of knowledge, which gave them an awakening that they started seeing themselves with the nakedness and everything. That's why they want to clothe themselves and all that. They were cast out of the garden because God did not want them to eat from the tree of life. Because the tree of life represents immortality. That they will be as gods if they eat from the tree of life. because God is immortal. And we're not supposed to be here forever. We're not supposed to be immortal. That's for God.
Yeah.
So that's, and I don't know if I've ever explained that to anybody, understanding that the tree of life is a biblical term also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have tomorrow right before us like a burning flame. Yesterday night and today's sundown is almost gone. Life is so unpredictable. It changes with every season. Even on your coldest night, or your coldest winter, yeah. It happens for the best of reasons. Although it feels so eternal, like all you do is freeze. I know I promise spring is coming, and with it, brand new leaves. Roses aren't always red, and violets aren't always blue, no. But listen to the positive voice. That voice that's way down inside of you. Future is uncertain. It's so hard for us to see what tomorrow is holding for you and me. Although it feels so eternal, that all you ever do is freeze. Oh, I promise spring is coming, with it, brand new leaves.
Nowadays, everybody is doing all their recording.
Yep. Right.
On this, at home on the studio. So I have a Mac. It's got 64 gigabyte of memory. It's got all kind of hard drives hooked up to it. A lot of RAM. This is the recording software over here. We have mastering software. All three screens are working. You know, so you do that, and then I play all the different horns. And I guess that's what a lot of people don't know is that I'll take it and say, play this horn first on a particular track right here. And then I'll come back and play this horn, and I'll play 2 or 3 different parts on this horn, right? Play
on
2
a different track?
On different tracks.
Okay.
So when I finish, there may be 20 tracks of horns. And that's what I do on most of all the records I do. It's first and second. So trumpet is left, right, one part, first trumpet. And the second trumpet is left, right. And then I'll do a muted trumpet, all right? So I'll do a muted trumpet part that's left, right, 2, and you'll hear. So you'll hear the muted trumpet part in the background, but you won't really know because it's the third trumpet part that was recorded. Then I'll do the trombone parts, and I got, or I'll do 2 flugelhorn parts, all right? I'll do, this is I call it a flugelbone, but it's really a baritone, it's a euphonium, but it's a smaller euphonium, and I call it like a flugelbone, so it sounds like a trombone, but it's smoother. And this is my little secret trick. A lot of people don't know that this horn right here is what kind of like makes, because this trombone, let me show you. Now this is, let me get it out. So this is the valve trombone.
Right.
Right, and this has a lot of edge to it. The valves are sticking right now, so I want. And you can hear it's got spit in it. And
Yeah.
It's got edge to it. And this one right here, if I played the same thing, now the valves are probably sticking in this one too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the valve stuck.
Okay.
That's why it's sounding crazy. But that one's smoother.
Okay.
Even though it's playing the same note,
Same note, yeah.
it has a smoother sound than that. And flugelhorn plays the same note as trumpet, but it has a smoother sound than that. So that's a lot of how I play on other people's songs. I'll do all of these horns and send them just 16 horn parts. And they just suck it on up in their music and boom, you got a hit record. So look, over here's where we do, what were you gonna say?
This one, the name of this one again?
It's a euphonium or baritone.
Now, how many people outside of music actually heard of that or seen?
I don't know, they've probably seen them. They you know, they've seen them. And like I say, it sounds like a trombone.
Right, and not knowing the technical names, you know, so that.
A euphonium or a baritone.
Okay, okay.
And like I said, I call it a flugelbone because it's made like a flugelhorn. If you look at it, it's made a little bit like a flugelhorn, whereas trumpets and trombones are made more straight, like that. These are called cylindrical because they're straight, and these are conical, meaning that they get bigger gradually.
Okay.
And these are the same size.
Same size.
So they have more edge than these do, because the fact that they get bigger like that, it smooths it out as it goes, whereas the stuff that's cylindrical has got more edge. So then we go over here to the other side of the studio. A lot of people, when they grand piano, it's mic'd already. That's the beautiful part about it. I don't have to mic it. The mic's already plugged in, set up. You just turn it on and start playing. And then, of course, you got your keyboard right here, the synthesizer keyboard that has electric pianos and all the other stuff. And then over here, we got the drum booth where I set my girl TK Johnson free.
Okay.
Look, TK.
You said set her free.
Hey, man, I put TK over here and let her do her thing. TK made me buy new drum heads. Because she told me, she said, because the drum heads were dull and whatever. So she came in here and worked on them. And you come in, you can see the tape actually. See the tape and stuff?
Yeah.
So she came in here and put the little tape here on the drum head to make it sound a certain way. And then she says, when I come back, I'll put the new drum heads on for you. So I made sure when she came back in town that I had all the drum heads sitting here ready to go. And she came in here, man, and she hooked it up. Girl's bad. That's all I can say. My girl T. So this is what we do. It's a lot of other equipment over there that Derek is showing you. Those big machines over there are machines that we used 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, I know.
Missy Elliott paid for those machines.
Wow. Oh, I mean, but they were the thing back then.
We had a contract with Missy.
They were the thing.
And, I think we got about $70,000 out of Missy Elliott. And that's a couple of those speakers over there and everything, that stuff. So, but that's what we're doing. Thank you for coming.
Oh, yeah.